Hey Ben, so this is your homework that we talked about. A couple things. You're going to need either 2 books that are similar height or some blocks if you have some at home. You could also use weights and lift them up like so, or something similar. Just something similar to high level and firm, so you're not going to, fall off them. You're going to need either a strap or a towel, something to grab your foot for the quad stretch and the hip flexor stretch. And you probably don't have a bolster at home, so pause the video, grab like a towel or a pillow that you can roll up, or a couple firmer pillows that you can use for your pigeon stretch. Cool? So after you have those things and you have your mat or your soft area, wherever you're working, come back to the video and we'll begin. So in the start of the video, you're going to come down. We're going to do that 90-degree stretch that you you've already done this a million times. You're going to lie down. Okay, you can relax your hands underneath your forehead. Extend one leg out at a 90-degree angle. Okay, and you're just going to soften here, relax. Take a few deep breaths. Allow your belly to press into the mat as you inhale. And allow yourself to relax as you exhale. So again, this is opening up our adductors and our inner thighs. It's stretching the piriformis and the glutes and the backside. So you can stay here for about 30 seconds to 2 minutes, about 15 to 20 breaths. Deep breaths, really try and think about softening as you exhale. And then when you've done this side, you're going to switch it and do the other side. Okay, so you'll draw your right knee out, whatever leg you didn't do on the other side, and then stay for the same amount of time. Okay, from then, you're going to give yourself a little shake out, maybe rocking your hips side to side on the mat. Then you're going to take your hands underneath your chest. Second position, we're going to come into your tabletop position. So your hands are going to be directly underneath your shoulders. Knees are going to be directly underneath your hips, and knees are hips distance apart here. Pressing your shins into the mat, you'll inhale, slide your shoulder blades down your back, gaze goes up as you tip your tailbone towards the sky. As you exhale, round your back, tuck your chin into your chest, tuck your tailbone, stretch the spine towards the sky. Again, inhale, drop the belly, gaze goes up. Exhale, round and tuck. Okay, so remember, you can add some swing side to side here. You could crunch into one side obliques, gazing back at the hips, making lateral side bends. You can even make some circles around the mat with your hips. We're really just trying to warm up the spine, warming up the hips, getting ready for some deeper and bigger movements. If you make circles with your hips going in one direction, try to go the opposite direction as well, just creating some balance in the body. So after you've done a few rounds of those, you'll come back up into your tabletop position. And then we're going to come into what's called a low lunge. So I want you to grab your blocks or whatever you're using to elevate yourself. Step your right foot forward first. Okay. Sink your hips, and then notice I'm going to walk my blocks back so they're directly underneath my shoulders. Cool. I used the highest level of my blocks. You could even put 2 chairs on either side of you. Cool, that'll work too. So notice my right knee or my front leg is directly underneath the ankle. So you have this really nice bone stacking. Sink your hips, lift your chest, and then press your weight into your right foot as if you're going to stand up. Pull your right hip back slightly. You're going to start to feel the stretch along the front part of your left thigh. Take a few deep breaths. Try to soften your face, relax into it, but you're pulling the belly back and in. So you're feeling the opposition here. You're pressing down with the legs, and then you're lifting everything in and up. So squeezing the glutes, pulling the belly back and in, strong through the side bodies, light through the fingertips. So if you have to press down through your hands, that's okay. You're probably trying to take some weight out of the hip stretch, but you don't want to take too much weight out of it. Yeah, that's what we're here for. You can pause the video. You can stay here for 5 breaths or so. Okay, once you're back in the video, you're going to shift your hips back, walk your right foot forward. We're coming into a hamstring stretch. You're going to draw your toes towards the sky, shift your chest forward with a long spine. So remember, engage the quads. Think about lifting the kneecap towards your thigh. Engage the quads, puff the chest out, inhale. If you exhale, you can start to wiggle the hips a little side to side. It's going to feel like a little deeper stretch when you rock your hips towards the left. You can hold them there. Again, spread your toes wide. A few breaths. If you rock your hips forward a little bit, it might create a different and deeper stretch as well. So what I mean by that is just lifting your hips towards your front of the mat, or rather, in other words, taking your left hip in front above the left knee a little bit more. Okay, when you've done a few breaths here, you're going to bend your right leg again, shift forward, sink your hips. You can take your blocks to the lowest level, plant your hands, tuck your back toe under, lift off your back knee. The more you keep your hips low here and press back through your back heel, the more of a hip flexor and quad stretch you'll feel. But you can also explore with pulling your left heel forward and up, pulling the right hip back, rounding your back, coming into what's called your high lunge. Okay? Think about like a runner here, okay? Like they're about to run a race. So like if you were crouched down, if your back knee was low and that like signal went off to start the race, you wouldn't really get a really good head start, right? So you want the right knee to be pressing firm into the mat, chest to be lifted, and to be firmly pressing through your left foot. Good, when you're ready, drop the back knee down. And then we're gonna come into a quad stretch. And remember, throughout this video, you can pause as many times as you want. You can watch the video once and then do the whole sequence, whatever you want to do. And you're going to bend into your back leg, take your strap or your towel, whatever you have at home, create like a lasso with whatever you have. You're gonna hook your left foot, and then notice how my hand grip, my thumb is up towards the sky. Grab that strap, and then you can bend your elbow, pulling your knee close. For me, my flexibility is there. I can grab the foot. Okay, so if you do this with your kids, they might be able to grab the foot. Breathe. So the goal here is to stretch out the hip flexors and the quads before we go into that pigeon, so you don't feel that pinching in the front part of your hip. A few deep breaths. Awesome. Once you stay there for a few deep breaths, you'll slowly release, plant your hands, maybe possibly remove the blocks. And this is where we're going to come into that pigeon stretch. You're going to start to walk your right foot over towards the left side of your mat. You'll drop your right knee down and slide your left leg back. And this is where you're going to take your bolster or your towel, whatever you have at home, and prop your right hip up onto it. Okay, so from the other side, it looks like this. So without the bolster, I'm walking my right foot towards the left, sliding my heel in enough to where I can drop my right knee down. And then I'm not just dumping my weight over like so, okay? It might feel like you're doing that, but you really want to squeeze isometrically front to back, lifting in and up. That's the goal over time. But from here, you'll probably need that support to kind of allow the hip to settle. If you need your blocks or props in front of you, get them. Take your hands on them, or walk yourself down to the forearms. If there ever feels like there's too much pain or sensation in the knee, you want to back off, either coming to the hands or finding your figure four on your back. Okay, and I'll show you that just as a, as a different pose you can come into. So again, if on either side this doesn't feel good, I'll show you the figure four. You're going to drop to one leg, slide the other leg up and around, and you'll meet me on your back. Okay, go mindful, don't just plop. So you've done your figure four a bunch of times. It is, essentially it's the same pose, but in the pigeon, the body and gravity is helping us. In our figure four, it's more so our arm work and our leg work, our leg muscles doing the work, right? So we'll work on the right leg. So cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Interlace your fingers around your left leg. You'll pick this shape up and then draw the shape closer toward your face. You're going to create the same stretch. Maybe it's going to be a little less intense. Cool? So you'll stay here for as long as you need, maybe about 30 seconds to a minute, maybe about 10 to 15 breaths. So you're going to do it on the other side, whether you're doing your pigeon or the figure four. To come out of the pigeon pose, so say you're in your pigeon, and I hope this video isn't too jumbled. Say you're in your pigeon, you'll take your blocks underneath your hands, tuck the back toes under, round your back, lift off the back knee, then lift your chest. This is going to take the weight out of that working leg, and then you'll step that leg back. You can even lift your hips coming into a downward facing dog. You could pedal it out, or you could come into your tabletop position, and you can kind of move your hips side to side. You can go into cat-cow. Anything that feels good to kind of reset, reestablish your pose. It's gonna be good. Okay. So make sure you do that on both sides. And the last little pose of the video will be our twists. So again, meet me on your back. Extend your left leg long. Take your hands out like a T. So from the shoulders. Okay, from here, you'll take your right foot onto the mat. Take your right knee, right ankle close to the shin. Sorry, close to the thigh. And you're going to drop your right leg over towards the left, coming into the twist. You might need to scoot your left hip towards the right a little bit. That's okay. I like to take my left hand towards my right knee to help it relax down. So the right shoulder is going to come up. That's no big deal. You're going to inhale, reach your right arm up and towards the left. And then exhale, drop it further down towards the left. As you inhale, pick your arm back up over the shoulder. And then as you exhale, drop your arm towards the right, towards the ground. Maybe the shoulder gets a little bit closer towards the mat. Again, inhale, pick your right arm up. As you exhale, drop it towards the left. So the head is going to stay grounded. Again, inhaling, arm comes above the shoulder. As you exhale, you drop it towards the right. As you inhale, it comes up. As you exhale, you twist it towards the left. So do this about 4 or 5 times, linking your breath with movement. And then on the last time, when you open your right shoulder up towards the sky, it drops down towards the mat. You're going to hold here and then breathe deeply into the twist for about 5 more breaths. Remember, in your twist, try to breathe high into the upper body. Good. When you're done, you're going to pull your right leg back up to the sky. Bend your left leg, readjust your hips to neutral, and then reset. You'll extend your right leg long. At this point, your left ankle should be inside your right thigh. That's pretty much where it needs to be. You'll drop your left knee towards the right. You'll probably have to scoot your right hip over towards the left a little bit. Adjust to where it's comfortable. If you have that prop, you might want to put it underneath your left knee. Again, as you inhale, you reach your left arm up. As you exhale, you'll drop it down to the right. Relaxing your legs, inhale, left arm up. Exhale, drop the left arm. Again, move through this a few times, linking your breath with your movement. Don't worry about if your left leg moves slightly, that's okay. Just try to relax as much as you can, especially on your exhales. Once you've completed this, and then you've held the stillness for about 5 breaths, you'll just roll back onto your back, extending your legs out long and finding a savasana. So you can pause this video once that space is there, once you're in that space, and then hold it there for about 30 seconds to a minute, maybe even longer, depending on when your body wants to wake up from the rest. If you have any questions, comments, please let me know. If that video seemed jumbled, just let me know and I can give you a little bit more written instruction. But we just did that class, so it should be pretty fresh in your mind. So I hope the video helps a little bit, especially with that pigeon pose. That really is the only one that was super new to you and in your practice. But again, if you're unsure, if the video wasn't clear, you can always go back to your figure 4, which you are super familiar with, and I believe you have written instructions for that as well too. All right then, talk to you soon. Bye.